This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning.
Somebody came up and was like, hey, a plane hit one of the towers in New York.
And we were watching the news on the tower. The first tower was smoking and had been hit. Obviously, we listened to it, said it was an airliner. And then we actually watched the second plane hit.
And then it was like, oh shit, something's wrong.
And I remember everybody in the room got real quiet. Everything became serious.
You know, we kept on hearing rumors the planes are coming to us now.
There is a plane that has been hijacked and is headed this way.
The windows rattle and things shake.
So I started running across the street. I think a 3 or 4 story building. You could get up there and see all of D.C. Made our way up to the top floor, and I could see all the smoke. Reports were coming in that the Capitol got hit, the White House.
There has been an explosion of some kind at the Capitol.
We are also getting reports now that there is a fire on the mall in Washington. The car bomb has exploded at the State Department.
There is a plane circling the White House at the moment.
We just got news that the Pentagon got hit.
That something hit the Pentagon on the outside of the 5th corridor.
So we were about a mile and a half away from the Pentagon.
It was our backyard. I mean, it was right there.
I was like, this is no accident. This is an attack. This feels different. CEO, someone came out or was already there, basically made the call for a full battle rattle.
We all got told to, get in all our gear, get the arms room line.
And start drawing weapons.
We drew everything out of the arms room.
Got updated on the mission to it was riot control. Now, returned all our weapons to the armory, pulled out all our riot gear, shin guards, chest protectors, face shields, batons, and the mission changed again.
And we were packed onto the LMTVs and made our way to the Pentagon.
I remember getting down the highway and coming around the trees and seeing the building for the first time. And that's when it got real.
The plane had just taken out telephone poles on its way in.
The building was still on fire.
We could see the smoke rising and all the fire and everything. The Pentagon collapsed after we arrived.
At that point, we had kind of waited around a little bit. We were waiting for fire and the Corps of Engineers to go in and kind of deem the building safer or safe enough for search and rescue operations for people to go pulling people out.
We're sitting out front that evening into the night watching the Pentagon burn. Once the fire was under control and out of the particular impact site, we were tasked to start going in and basically start clearing debris and at the same time searching for plane parts, bodies, body parts.
We went in without PPE on. There was no protection. The fires were basically out, but there was a lot of heat in that building.
But I remember going in and there was water. So you had the mixture of the soot and water, and then you had the smell of jet fuel that lingered in wet concrete. It was very musky. It was dark, very dark in there.
All the HVAC from the ceiling hanging down, large pipes, kind of conduits, wiring, piping, everything had been soaked in fire retardant and water. There's jet fuel. It was putrid. It stunk.
Put on Tyvek suits and they gave us these painter's respirators, which were getting wet, and we kept wearing the same ones over and over and sharing them. I believe we'd give them to the next guy as we left. They were basically hot bunking gear.
We were given pockets of little like surveying flags. One was for plane parts and one was for biological remains. I went through pockets of every color of flag, and yeah, there was no people to see or rescue. We're walking through the building, climbing through that hole, turning rubble over. Everything you pulled over, just found body parts, plane parts, seats, landing gear, the front wheel assembly, pulling things over and just finding the next pink flag or white flag piece to put down. It wasn't a black box and it wasn't anybody living, so we wanted flag the next day. It became, I guess, mechanical. It was easier then than it is now.
I felt like I was gonna melt into the shovel. They pulled me out of there on a stretcher, took me out to some aid tent, and they ended up stripping me down to my drawers and put an IV in each arm. And after I'd taken the IVs, they told me I couldn't go back in the building for like 3 hours.
This wasn't just a day for us. This would last another 2 to 3 weeks.
Put his hand right through the guts of somebody that it was just a burnt body that we couldn't tell was a body at all.
We found a guy dead on the toilet.
Went down to grab the shoes, and there were still feet in the shoes.
And that was what I thought was foam was the fat that was burnt and leaching out of the burnt skin.
Raked up, and it looked kind of like fiberglass insulation. And then when I raked again, it kind of rolled up and flipped over, and it was, somebody's skin had a tattoo on it.
You kick over a shoe and there's a fucking foot in it.
What we seen in there, no one should ever have to see.
I wish there was a little bit more concern with the mental health, I guess, aspect of us guys who were going in there. There was a lot of things that have sat deep inside, I guess, a lot of guys, and since then. I know some guys have been homeless since. A lot of guys have been divorced.
Became very angry, very aggressive, started to drink a lot, still drink a lot.
But shortly after, we were there, one of our buddies killed himself. Dealing with that, in 2001 is still affecting a lot of guys.
I've been diagnosed with PTSD.
Depression.
Cancer.
Neck cancer.
Bladder cancer.
Asbestos-related cancer.
A few of the guys who are in our company have had lung issues.
One guy had a pretty severe reaction to wading through the jet fuel. His skin basically fell off his legs.
We were asked to respond to and clean up one of the worst attacks on the U.S. after the military acted like we should just bury what we saw, and then they just forgot about us.